Hi Year 4! So I've got some books that I would like to do some guided reading question type lessons on. They're all non-fiction factual books, which are really exciting, so hopefully we'll all learn something together. They're quite long, and they've got a lot of information, a lot of facts, quite a lot of words in them. So instead of doing the whole book in one video, I'm going to do it over a couple of videos, and then after each page and section of the book I'll have a list of a couple of comprehension questions. Now I'm going to just carry on reading through the book, and it's up to yourselves to pause and answer the questions as and when you'd like, and you can rewind and fast forward however you'd like to sort of approach these videos. It's completely up to yourselves. I'm not expecting you to do all the questions in one sitting because it's quite a lot, might be a little bit overwhelming, so just take it at your own pace, and when you're ready you can email the answers to us. I'd really like the answers in full sentences, so just like we practice in school. And as far as writing out the question, yeah, I'd quite like to write out the question as well, because that's really good practice for handwriting, which we're not necessarily getting at the moment because we don't have any school-specific handwriting lessons. For anyone, this is a message to parents, carers, if you have children who are not in Year 4 and this is something that you are maybe interested in, then feel free to adapt the questions however you would like, making them a little bit harder for upper Key Stage 2 and then be a little bit simpler for Key Stage 1 classes. Any comments or ways that you think these could be better, or anything you like about them, or just any general comments at all, please feel free to email, and I pop the email in the description box below. Okay, let's get started. So on the page here we have two diagrams. One is of a typical hive, which is where bees live, and the other is items of equipment. Have a little couple of minutes here to pause this page and read with whoever is helping you or whoever's reading with you all the different components which make up the typical hive and also the equipment. Have a little chat about what you see and what you think each different part is used for. Comprehension questions. Number 1. Why does the roof have a ventilator? Number 2. What other objects are typically made using the material felt? Number 3. What does the word excluder mean? Try and use a description from the diagram to justify your answer. Number 4. Have you ever seen a beehive before? What do you remember about it? Man has used honey as a sweetener since earliest times, and there are many references to it in ancient literature, as well as many myths and errors concerning the life of the honeybee. We know the honeybee to be not only a honey producer, but also one of the most important insect pollinators of both crop plants and wildflowers. Without it, many crops could not be grown economically. Today, as never before, the honeybee faces the danger of careless spraying of insecticides and weed killers on plants in bloom. Protection of the honeybee against these risks is essential for future crop production, even more than for honey production. This book tells us of the marvellously efficient and highly organised life of the honeybee, from the laying of the eggs by the queen, the growth of the larvae, the contribution of the drones and the workers, to the swarming of overpopulated colony and the handling of bees by the modern beekeeper. The honeybee has been known to man for many thousands of years. A very old rock painting in Spain shows the removal of honey from a nest of wild bees. 4 kinds of honeybee exist in the world, but in Britain we have only one, the western honeybee, of which there are several different forms, all very closely related. They differ in their colours, a little in size, and in the length of their tongues. Some work in poorer weather than others, some eat more than others, but all of them produce honey, and this is why we are interested in them. Honey is a very good food for everyone. It is especially good for people who are ill, as it gives energy quickly and is the food most easily absorbed by the human body. Bees live in hives. The man who looks after them is the beekeeper, and his group of hives is called an apiary. All the honeybees, even in an apiary, are really wild animals and have not been tamed in the same way as horses and cattle. Very occasionally, bees make their home in the open, hanging their combs from branches as shown in the picture. But such a colony cannot survive winter rain. Comprehension questions. Number 1. List 3 ways that the different forms of Western honeybee may differ from one another. Number 2. What ingredient does honey contain which gives people who eat it lots of energy quickly? Number 3. What are the differences between tamed and untamed animals? Can you give an example of an animal that is tamed and one that is not? Number 4. Why do you think certain colonies cannot survive rain? What the honeybee looks like. In some ways, the honeybee resembles many other insects. It has a head, a thorax carrying the wings and legs, and an abdomen, which is more than half the length of the whole bee. But let us look more closely. The head has 2 big, many-sided compound eyes, one on each side. There are 3 much smaller, simple eyes on the very top of the head. From the front of the face come 2 long feelers or antennae, with which the bee can sense touch, taste and smell. On the bottom of the head is the sucking tongue, which the bee uses for taking up its food and for ripening nectar. It is folded away when not in use. The mandibles are used for working wax. The thorax carries the wings. You will see that the front pair is bigger than the hind pair, and the 2 wings of each side are hooked together. The 3 pairs of legs have many special structures. The back legs have brushes for cleaning pollen off the body, and a basket in which pollen can be carried back to the hive. Each front leg has a very small notch, lined with hairs, which is used for cleaning the antennae. At the tip of the abdomen is the weapon we all respect, the sting. Wow, there's a lot of information there in that page, so a really good thing I think to do here would be to pause the video and look at the page on the right hand side, which has the illustration of the bee and all the descriptions as well of what we have just spoken about. So see if you can find the feature on the picture of the bee and then link it up to what that feature or what that body part actually does. Comprehension questions. Number 1. What 3 senses do bees, feelers or antennae sense? What are the other 2 senses? And I popped in some challenge questions as well because I think you can handle it. Now these might be a bit tricky as the answers aren't directly in the book, so it might take a little bit of extra research or chatting with your parents and whoever's looking after you. So number 1, the back legs of a bee has brushes which clean pollen off the body. What is the process called when bees and other insects disperse pollen in different areas like this? Now think back to your science, maybe in Key Stage 1. And challenge question number 2, what could you do to help a honeybee that looks as though they are struggling to stay alive or not flying away? How could you save it? Have a look in your garden, porch, balcony or any outdoor space you might have or have a little bit of access to at the moment for any honeybees who might need your help. I'm really wondering if anyone knows what I'm talking about here. Have a little chat with whoever you're with and see if you can find any honeybees outside. There might be some on a leaf or maybe one on a stair, hopefully because it's a really nice day as well. Well, thank you all for listening, and like I say, have a little go of these questions at your own pace, and when you're ready to answer them, then I'd love to see some of your answers. Okay, bye!